We saw in the last presentation how a simple sentence consists of one clause, and we looked at the ingredients of a clause. So now we're going to look at longer sentences. To be specific, we're going to look at compound and complex sentences and see how commas and conjunctions play their roles in linking up the clauses. So let's go back to the dog and the postman. Say we want to add more information. Now, it's useful at this stage to consider the definition of a sentence. How do we know when to finish a sentence and start a new one? In my view, a sentence must fit two criteria. The first is grammatical. It's about clauses. So we know to put a full stop at the end of the clause. For example, I can see here that we have two sentences and we need a full stop here and here. This is because there are two clauses and nothing to connect them. I can't just put a comma in between them, at least not for standard or formal writing. That would be a run-on sentence. The second definition is semantic. It's about meaning. Look at this. This is nonsensical. The second clause has no semantic relationship with the first, or very little. So a sentence has to be about one idea or notion. Like this. This would be good. So this could be a definition of a sentence, or maybe this. Which one do you prefer? The definition of a sentence is quite complex and there are lots of different definitions if you look online. Here are just a few. Have a look. Okay, so back to the dog and the postman. Now we want to add more information to this simple sentence. So here we now have a compound sentence. Compound sentences consist of more than one clause, but each clause has equal weight in the sentence and is independent of the other clauses. A comma separates the clauses, and we use a coordinating conjunction to connect the clauses. There are 7 coordinating conjunctions. Here they are. And here are some more examples of compound sentences. Now let's move on to complex sentences. Here's an example. Complex sentences are different in that there's a main clause and then one or more dependent or subordinate clauses. So look at this example. The main clause is here and the subordinate clause is here. Now this subordinate clause doesn't make sense on its own. It's dependent on the main clause. Here is the conjunction. Now this is a subordinating conjunction. That is a conjunction that connects a subordinate clause. Notice that subordinating conjunctions are often at the beginning of the sentence. Here are some more examples. Can you identify the conjunctions in these sentences? There are lots of different subordinating conjunctions. Have a look at these examples. Here are just a few, and there are a lot more. Of course, it's possible to combine any number of clauses with conjunctions, although be careful not to make sentences too long. Look at this example. See how the commas indicate the end of the clause. With compound and complex sentences, the commas generally go between the clauses, although often comma use is a matter of taste and style and rules vary. This is a complex sentence with 3 clauses and 2 conjunctions, and you see the 2 commas. And have a look at this one. This is a compound complex sentence with 2 independent clauses and 1 subordinate clause. Can you identify which is which? So to recap, we've seen how sentences which have more than 1 clause are either compound or complex. Compound sentences have 2 or more clauses which can stand on their own. We use coordinating conjunctions for compounds, for example, and or but, and a comma between the clauses. Complex sentences have 1 main clause and 1 or more dependent clauses, that is, clauses that need the main clause to make sense. Subordinating conjunctions connect, and we generally use commas between the clauses. In the next activities, we're going to practice identifying clauses and conjunctions.